Hey guys, my name is Simpzy, how you all doing? Welcome back to some more Total War Warhammer 3 here today on the channel. We're back with episode 9 of my Grand Cathay series, playing as Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon. We're playing as the Northern Provinces. Here today, we're going to be venturing further south into the ancient giant lands and the Ogre Mountains to try and take and capture some territory, as a lot of it is desolate now and can be colonized for Cathay. So if you'd like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like and subscribe if you're new. Got to say a huge thank you to the Creative Assembly for sending me early access and making this Let's Play possible. So thank you to them. Okay, so we're currently in harmony, which is fantastic. We've been maintaining our harmony a lot more just due to the lack of confederations we've had to deal with. Our buildings are on point, our harmony is on point, we're getting some fantastic bonuses. We've also got armies scattered throughout the world as well. So as you can see, it must have been Chaos, or maybe Tzeentch has just teared through the Ogre mountain ranges here, and there's a lot of land that we can take. Look, it's not the most hospitable terrain here in the Ice Pass. However, it is advantageous to do so as we've got a lot of money in the bank. There's really not real much more we can expand. Like, we can't capture territory over the Great Bastion now. But look at all these lands. Like, this is ripe for Cathay colonization and taking. Like, even the Mountains of Morn here as well. We can get the Fire Mouth volcano there. There are some territory like further south here that we might be able to grab. But it's kind of interesting to see how the ogres have expanded and conquered and in this series. So they have been smashed quite a bit, but also in areas the ogres have prospered. For example, Reichland and Marienburg have fallen to the ogres. We've also got armies scattered around our empire, just in critical positions whether or not to close the rifts when they open. We've got a full stack here at the Snake Gate, and we have another one at the Turtle Gate. So the Fortress of Eyes here is currently in our line of sight. There doesn't seem to be an army here as well. Looks like the Great Bastion will be attacked soon anyway, so I thought we'll aggressively move out, get the skill points, get a little bit of cash money, and we'll move back to the Snake Gate. I think doing these lightning raids when you're in a position, destroying this territory, can really help just not allow the Chaos armies over the Great Bastion to compound. But seeing that territory over there, it's nowhere near as hospitable as the Ogre's territories. Alright, so we're going to push down to Blood Peak, and we'll try and take some territory here as well. We've got Miao Ying and another full stack, but we might even be able to go and have some battles against Greasus, the Ogre King here. He is currently further south in the Ice Pass. There is Kiros Fate Weaver as well. We have Miao Ying and a secondary reinforcing army. I'm going to use this one to actually colonize the settlement of the Blood Peak. And now we've got it under our control. It will take a little while to replenish, and we'll hit these other ogres that are hanging out here. There's even some dwarven architecture carved into the mountains there, as you can see, which is really quite cool. And we'll just try and run down these small ogre units. We can use lightning strike as well, which is brilliant, so we can divide and conquer these two armies. We invested in that quite a long time ago now, and we're going to reap the benefits and rewards because of it. So far, Chaos Realms wise, we have done the Realm of Khorne and Slaanesh in the last episode. We have still 2 more to go before we can deal with the sort of end times of the campaign, I guess. So we've got the Firemouth Mountain here, which looks cool. I'm not entirely sure what unique buffs it gives us. I don't even know if there's a global one, like a global buff. We'll have to take it and find out. Right, we'll replenish, and we'll continue to move further south. Miao Ying is now a whopping level 39. We've gone through most of the tech tree, the skill tree. Well, we've actually gone pretty far through the tech tree as well that we've been focusing on. So we'll go with Foe Seeker there, I guess. Alright, the Wujing Compass needs to be spun, and I've been really enjoying Celestial Lake in this campaign, so let's keep it up. Alright, so the Great Bastion is under attack, and what is there, like 9 or 10 full stacks now that have been spawned? It's quite significant. Maybe it's technically been reduced to some extent with some of these settlements razed and destroyed and desolate that we've gone and done. Oh, Kiros Fate with it, Weaver at the top of the turn, and Greasus have actually moved further towards me, so we actually might have to attack them. They are chasing each other by the look of it. I do believe they are at war. But yeah, not really too much else, just sort of replenishing and repairing. Trying to take as many of this desolate territory as we can. Like, it's free territory. Why not invest down in there? Oh, the Great Bastion has been attacked though, however. Not at the Snake Gate. The Turtle Gate is under attack. We don't have the Dragon Gate under our control. Win 10 battles with a hero. That's alright. And once we get a bit of money, we can send off another caravan as well. So we might have to deal with Kiros again. We're still at war with Greasus because we declared war upon him, trying to get him in, what was it, Selanesha's realm. Alright, let's move you here. We're going to run out of movement from Miao Ying, so we can't attack Kiros, but this secondary army should be able to give chase. Regardless if it runs away, it's still probably the better decision to do. I only mention that because he was even running away when we were dealing with him in the, like, just to the north there in the mountain pass. I might move you back because I'd rather Miao Ying get attacked even if she's in a forced march position. She's probably better to by slowly replenishing that army we used. Oh, look at this. We've actually been attacked during the end turn phase. Look, you know what? It's been quite a while since I fought a battle on the Great Bastion. We've been attacked by the Kurgan Warband. So, you know what? Let's play this one. We'll start this episode off with a battle at the Turtle Gate. But as we're getting further into the campaign, the attacks on the Great Bastion have grown, and their forces are definitely more fierce, to say the least. Okay, so we'll quickly just rally everyone up, and we'll go into a defensive position. So I think we'll chuck my archers at the front of the wall, then we'll put the infantry on the, like, the secondary tier here, and then everyone else can sit just behind the gateway, and hopefully my archers and crossbowmen should be able to rain fire and death on these chaos barbarian Norskins, because we have had a lot of good results against these people in the campaign. Hopefully we can pull out another decent result. So thanks to my investment with my army sitting on the Great Bastion and the garrison inside, we're in a really good position here to win this one. So archers, make sure to arc your shots, pick your targets well, and try and pierce through the enemy hide. Infantrymen, get ready for combat. And then what I'll do with my cavalry is we'll charge on out of the city gates. But here is the Snake Gate and the Great Bastion just behind as well. Look how glorious this looks. And let's have a look at what the warband has brought up. So they've got some feral mammoths here, some marauders as well. Mammoths attacking the wall. It's kind of cool. Kind of like Game of Thrones, I guess. Alright. Well, we do have some supplies as well. So I'm nearly tempted just to get a couple towers in. Maybe not the explosive one. That's probably going to cost too much. So maybe a couple of small ones. Because I don't think we're going to get, let's say, swarmed and enveloped enough to need to put barricades everywhere. I think we're going to be able to hold the wall and gateways for as long as possible. We don't need to fall back, which sometimes it is more of an advantageous position in Warhammer, particularly in Warhammer 2. I haven't experienced in Warhammer 3 just yet, but if you just get swarmed and overwhelmed, it's actually better to retreat further within the city. So already some crossbow bolts have been loosed and shot on out as the warband slowly but surely encroaches upon the Snake Gate to try and seize control of the Great Bastion. My cavalry is marching out here now. Oh no! One poor guy broke ranks and charged at a mammoth. So I want to try and get away from those trolls. The marauders are the ones that I want to particularly target. It is taking them a little while to get on out here. as these poor cavalry units are getting engaged. So they've got their trolls engaging the gateway now. They do have additional reinforcements. This is just the first army, but they're going to be coming in slowly but surely. But the marauders have now set their ladders on the wall, and they're pushing on up. But I want to try and leave my archers on the walls as long as possible, because they seem to be absolutely rip-roaring through the lightly armoured marauders. And thankfully our Jag crossbowmen are more than capable to engage in melee combat if they need to. Like I said before, there's no point of spending the supplies on barricades or traps. I think it's a smart idea just to upgrade the arrow towers, because those things absolutely shred and rip on through enemy combatants. Particularly explosive in the cannon rounds. Wow. They can really quite make a difference. So we have some Celestial Dragon Guard crossbowmen there. They're going to move their crossbows back onto their backs. Some of them are going to try and fire, but they're drawing their short swords and are going to engage the enemy opposition. My cavalry has managed to flank around and try and target some of the enemy that are in no man's land here in the desert. Actually, you know what? I'm going to redirect your pattern. Yeah, quickly now, pivot out. And I want to try and target the additional reinforcements now coming on in. Just to soften them up, disrupt them more than anything. And if I can encourage more arrow fire, that would be brilliant. Okay, unfortunately some trolls and a mammoth have made their way on through, and now they're engaging some Jade warriors. Hopefully they can hold against the chaotic and feral warband. Right, let's try and engage some of these marauders from the side. Hopefully now that the entire unit's not getting stuck pathfinding wise in the gateway, now it's going to come on out and we can get a nice clear charge. Nice, perfect. That's what I like to see. When you get that high octane charge and momentum, you can really knock the marauders off their boots. I'm not the biggest fan of cavalry in Warhammer, particularly in Warhammer 2. Overall, I haven't seen too much of a cavalry difference. Like, you can see the units there, although they did some impact, and I think they kind of look like they've got animations from 3K. Some of the Cathay forces. The optimal charges, you're probably not going to get much better than that. And they are taking a lot of losses out there working. You can just see on the battlefield. They've got a general trying to move up here. He ain't going to make it too long. And already we're disrupting the marauder infantry coming back. But unfortunately my cavalry's going to be waving there as well. Yeah, they just can't last too long. But we have managed to destroy 1,500 of the enemy forces. Some have wrapped around and are in the city, but I haven't even needed to interchange and quite literally change my position of my bowmen, because anything that's entered the city or been on the arrow towers, they haven't been there for too long, and most of the enemy is now wavering and they've capitulated. Victory! A decisive victory on the Great Bastion. And that just shows you that we probably could nearly auto-resolve some of these battles. That was fun. Showing off the map, of course. But look at these armored crossbowmen. Getting between 80 to 100 kills, some of them. 50 here and there and so. But 4,000 defenders against 2,000. Another decent victory against the warband. Particularly with that garrison reinforcing as well makes the difference. Ah, the Box of Delights. So, we can take on the Yin and Yang. Yeah, you got to be careful about this, because I just took the bonus and didn't fully comprehend it. I was stuck with an event minus harmony for quite a while. It can really stuff up like 30 turns of your campaign. You got to keep an eye on that. Alright, so, unfortunately, Kiros and Goldtooth have retreated now that I wanted to give chase. This army's now... I think it's got enough units to not be overly compromised in a colonization position, so we should be able to colonize the sky of monoliths here as we push further into the ancient giants territory. Now we do have to keep an eye on the yin and yang. My buildings is only one, so you've got to be... It's easier when you've got a bunch of wealth to focus on yin and yang. Like, you can build multiple buildings at the same time. You just got to keep an eye on it, because it can go far without you. Also, we're going down the yin and yang defense and aggressive attack, so we're going to be technically out of balance for a little bit as well. You just got to balance the tech when you can. Try and stay in harmony, but if there's some decent tech you need, that is you're going to basically take on more yin. You just got to correct it with yang. It's that simple. Anyway, Greasus Goldtooth has actually moved further back into the settlement, which is really annoying. Ogres, you're better off facing them on the open field, particularly in a land battle. You do struggle to try and just break down the physical mass of an ogre, even playing as Cathay. They're actually quite a tricky faction to play against. You can, if you're not sort of slow and meticulous in your approach, you can very often take on more casualties than what you need to. So, as a defensive siege, we're playing into Goldtooth's advantage. So he's level 20, a lot of ogres inside, and a lot of catapults there as well. But anyway, we'll fight this one because this is our first battle against Greasus Goldtooth. We haven't fought or found him on the campaign map at all. So we've got the Battle of the Mist Gorge here. Hopefully Miao Ying and her loyal men of Cathay can help win this one out. Also, I've changed up my army build slightly. I've managed to control and have in this build 6 units of Celestial Dragon Guard. We have 1 Celestial Dragon Guard crossbowmen, which we've had from like basically the start of the game. We have 6 Jade crossbowmen. I have 1 unit of Terracotta Sentinels, and we have 3 units of Fire Rain Rockets as well. I think this is probably my optimal army build for how I personally play. I think the best, like, you can take advice from content creators as well, but I think everyone's different. Like, your play style, so there's so many varying factors on stuff to say, hey, this army build is the best, or only use these units. Like, then you got to take into account the difficulty you play on and your play style and how you have fun with the game. Like, I don't mind sometimes role playing with ineffective units. I'm fine with that. But so far, this army build I think is better for me. Maybe because I don't micro too much with like thunder gunners and jade gunners and stuff. I sometimes feel like as well, just the way I play, I get more kills and more use with crossbowmen or like a bow unit rather than those gunners. Look, the armor piercing properties of the crane gunners and the iron hail gunners are good, particularly early on. But like going into this settlement that has, maybe you could even argue, artillery supremacy over us because they do have their own catapults. That's going to complicate things. Here's the Terracotta Sentinel as well. It's the first time we're deploying it in this campaign that's not in a survival battle. So we can be a little bit patient in looking at the unit and zoom on in. But we'll advance to one of these narrow choke points, because we want to try and move our crossbowmen close up as possible so they can start softening and weakening up the hit points of the ogres. But it's going to get to a point where we're going to have to charge in there anyway to try and take their territory. So we'll try and do our best with our fire rain rockets to try and soften them up. But it's going to be easier said than done. I've also put an alchemist in as well to help us out. So far I've been focusing on my astromancers, but now that we've got the funds we can focus on getting a variety of agents. But so far the fire rain rockets are making quick work on some of these ogres, but they do have some of their own mid to late tier quality units, because I'd say that's where we are in the campaign. But here is Greasus Goldtooth on his cart, adorned in jewels and finery. There's his mace, and he's got some poor little noblars at the back. We've got a fire belly here as well. But I'm kind of surprised he's this far south. Maybe because he's lost most of his lands to the demons. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how this campaign has gone on out. Alright, so the fire rain rockets are doing quite well. They have their own catapults inside, so we want to try and target those. Oh my god, look at that! Their catapults are very potent against mine. So let's target the Noblar catapult. Yeah. Those Noblar catapults kind of remind me of the Ogre, the greenskin flyer catapults from Warhammer 2. Well, technically Warhammer 1, but yeah, was it Grom that had upgraded catapults? I can't remember off the top of my head. I think so. I'm thinking right, I think. Anyway, let's slowly but surely advance up and put some more pressure in on the Ogres. We are trading a little bit back and forth. Still about 65% in our favour. We got a couple wavering as well. But man, these fire rain rockets, or essentially Hellstorm rocket batteries, I like to call them, as they basically are, they are absolutely shredding the enemy opposition. But to be fair, the Ogres do have some of their own defensive artillery. Right, so my secondary reinforcing army is now coming on in. Let's get the Jade Warriors up, and we'll combine them with the Peasant Bowmen as well. So, we are slowly grinding against the Ogres. I think we're going to win this one, but it's going to be a, I don't know, a costly victory. It could even be a Pyrrhic at the end of the day. Alright, so Miao Ying's now pushing up. Oh my god, a little bit of friendly fire there. Oh no. That's not what we want. I'll move my Terracotta Sentinel up as well. But you do have to be prepared to go into Ogre territory. Yeah, so maybe just looking at the casualties we're taking now and how it's a little bit hard to even progress into a defensive city like this, even with Celestial Dragon Guard and Crossbowmen. I'm kind of happy I didn't venture into the ancient giant lands or the Ogre Mountains until... Would I say we're in the mid or late game now? We're about 70 or so turns in, aren't we? So, a campaign can go usually for like 100... Well, my campaigns tend to go for about 150, 200 turns. So, we're probably mid-game, I would say. This campaign, these scenario campaigns do tend to go a little bit shorter, so... We're closer to the sort of late game units and stuff, I would say. Oh my god. Yeah, he's getting just bombarded here. Look, you know what I might have to do? I might have to send everyone up firstly, but I don't know. I think we're taking a little bit too long whittling them down. Like, these catapults are really quite depleting us, so I'm going to send Miao Ying. Oh my god, she nearly got clipped there by a Noblar shot. What I'll do is I'll chuck the Talons here, because she's going to be able to dive, and we... Is it going to be in the radius? No. It bloody moved. I thought you would be quick enough to descend, because sometimes if you engage them, you've actually caught them in combat. I think that's what we need to do. We do outnumber the Ogres, but they just have probably more hit points. Like, numerically, we probably have supremacy, but hit points-wise and health, they might have the edge up on us. Okay, so some of these arrow towers are actually hitting us here now. Alrighty, so my reinforcing army has now made their way onto the doorsteps of the Ogre. I wouldn't call this a city, more of an encampment, I guess. But even if we can't destroy these catapults, like we've got a flying general unit here, she hasn't got the most hard-hitting attack damage, you know what I mean? It's still better off to do this because we're annoying, we're phasing out, we're not allowing the catapults to target our vulnerable Cathayan infantrymen. Even if a couple spells miscast, it's probably good just get a little bit of damage on it. Right, so they've now pulled further back. It's interesting that we're actually out of range now. We're more so in range of arrow towers, so it's going to get to a point where push is going to come to shove and we're going to have to charge our way on in. It's an interesting battle map, this one, because there's actually a lot of... there's like natural occurring rocks, and then there's like ogre, rather, architecture, like all throughout. So it's actually making the rain rockets have a bit of a hard sort of targeting and aiming shot. So it's actually like we're clipping a lot of these boulders and stuff. So the catapult that we were targeting has actually gone down to the town square, and we found this fire belly and greases inside. So we'll send Miao Ying. That might be the next target. We've managed to get rid of the catapults, really. We might just need to get Miao Ying in dragon form to target greases. I haven't played as the ogres yet, as they're a DC'd faction. But I'm curious to see how Greasus sort of plays. Like, I haven't played with him. I imagine just looking at his posture and how he's just sitting in a chair, I would imagine he's a sort of a lord that you would just get buffs from, basically. I don't know if he's the most proficient in hand-to-hand legendary lord combat, let's say. But I guess looks could be deceiving. Because he's just laying back in a cart. I kind of like the ogres. They seem quite cool. It could very well be like a lot of people's first faction they're going to play as. What faction are you guys going to play as once you get your hands on the game? I'm so far really enjoying this Cathay series, and I haven't actually played too many other factions. We've only done just an hour-long teaser as the Demon Prince, which allows you to sort of test out, obviously, a lot of the Chaos factions, but I'm still yet to sink my teeth into Kislev and their legendary lords just yet. I think we'll go with Kislev next, but we'll just have to see. I might leave it up to you guys. I'm not entirely sure just yet. This is a long battle. It's getting to the point where I think we just need to advance. Alright. So Miao Ying is quite low here. We might have to sort of just try to hit Greasus from a distance, because he's actually been defensively alright. Man, we're taking a lot of casualties here. I'm actually kind of surprised as to how well the ogres are defending their settlement. Like, they're taking a lot of us with us. If I had to rank like factions that Cathay are great and good against and bad against, I would nearly say the ogres are probably up there against like a really tough faction for Cathay, along with Zinch and Slunish. Because we're just struggling. Or maybe it's not necessarily the faction. It could just be our I misclicked there. Our army build. You know what I mean? Because our army necessarily might not be optimized for ogres. Oh, watch out for you. Bouncing that little spell off there. Here are some Noblar trappers. Oh, cool. We've got some furs over their head. I do really quite like that there's a lot of Noblar units in the ogre roster. Alrighty, how are the Jade Warriors doing here? Oh my god. So I'm just looking at the reinforcing army. We've got 2 units crushed, 1 wavering, and our bowmen just trying to help on out. They've actually put a lot of the ogre remaining forces to target the reinforcing army, which is quite astute of a move. Alright, we're battling Greasus now. Now that he's further away from the town square, we hope they can try and target him. Still trying to get various spells and stuff off. Okay, now he's running a bit. Just need to keep my Astromancer protected there. Oh, I think the tide is turning now for the ogres. A lot of them on this left-hand side are actually retreating, which is brilliant. Oh, Miao Ying is now retreating though. That's rather unfortunate. There's Jade Warriors as well. What? Oh, that's annoying. How did you get taken out? I didn't even notice that. Oh no, we lost one of our reinforcing lords there. That's annoying. She was actually reasonably leveled. 10 or 15 or so. I think she got taken out by an arrow tower as well. I thought she was sort of safe there because there was no units in her proximity. Right, I just need to switch Miao Ying back to normal form so we can heal her. We still have plenty of Winds of Magic in the bank. Well, not plenty, but enough for her to get a couple heals off. Alright, so most of the ogre armies in a retreat. I think we just need to make sure we push on and try and take out Greasus now. And the fire belly that's sitting there, because that seems to be all that remains. There does seem to be a decent push here on the eastern side, particularly with the Jade Warriors being crushed, but now we're actually fighting them on the open field, which is giving us an advantage with our peasant bowmen. We're to some extent like kiting them, I guess. No movie there. There we go. Except for the stone horn, we're doing alright against the rest. But that thing has got a crazy amount of kills, I reckon. Once we look at the casualties sustained and inflicted for this fight. Greasus has been an absolute pain in my side in this campaign, I'm not even going to lie. We couldn't catch him in Slaanesha's realm in the previous episode. Even though we declared war upon him and chased him to the bottom of the pit. And he came up here with Kyros as well. We had to chase him. It's quite smart that he's made us come all the way back here to fight a defensive or an offensive siege. A Pyrrhic victory in the end. I thought it might be a close one, but yeah, it's a Pyrrhic. So we lost 1,600. He deployed 1,000. Oh my god. Yeah, look at the Stonehorn, a whopping 300 kills. Crikey. And then the Noblar catapults there did most of the work. Oh my god. Miao Ying did alright. Same with our fire rockets, but that was... Oh, we lost a Terracotta Sentinel as well. That was a really costly fight. But hey, you live and learn. That's our first time fighting against the ogres, so now I know how to approach them. We're going to have to get a new lord in. We're going to have to be careful here because now it's swung so yang. So we need to get a Yin general. Thankfully, we do have a decent pool of generals as we've had so many confederations. And I think we can start off with like level 4s now from what we can recruit. So it might be worth just doing that. And we'll try to get our harmony back on track as we've taken our first piece of territory in the Ice Pass. The Vale of Titans there. But we'll replenish and repair where we can. And just try and take more of this desolate ogre territory next time around with minimal losses. We've still got the next Rift event to come in the future. Kyros is just down to the south. Alrighty. Alright, tech tree wise, we're making our way through it quite well. We do have to be careful about what we go to. We have to balance it out with yin and yang tech. But, yeah, maybe just getting construction times and stuff, that's probably not too bad to start things off. Alright, with tonight he turns into the Let's Play. Miao Ying is now level 41. Max level, I think, is 50? I can't remember. But anyway, let's just prove her attack and defense there.
I stand apart.
But Kiros
Celestial and
is coming into our sphere of influence, which is interesting. We can get some peasant bowmen here, which I'm kind of tempted to do with this reinforcing army. Not much else is really going on here. Just some minor ogre armies here and there. I do want to push further north as well at some point. The Great Bastion is currently under siege. There's a bunch of units that have been spawned here, so we will have to go and chip against some of those. I think there was 8 units that were spawned. We've already fought a lot of... We actually fought a battle on the Great Bastion in today's episode, but we've been fighting on the Great Wall for 90 turns here now. So, if it's a decent auto-resolve, I think I'll do it. And most of the lands are still desolate there as well. Peace treaty-wise, we're getting close with Greasus. There's not really much else we can do as well, diplomacy-wise. Ah, that's annoying. The blood guzzlers. The western provinces have attacked them. They're the only Cathayan faction left that I want to confederate with, so I guess we'll enter. It might expose us slightly, but not too much. Some of the ogres actually like us, though, as you can see there. Alright, so the Great Bastion is still under threat and attack. But nothing too complicated that we can't deal with. Decisive victory there. Perfect. Yeah, and the Great Bastion threat has been reduced. It's because we've got huge garrisons now. And I want to get to a point where the full stacks that are currently on the wall can really just pay for themselves. I think the highest is a 60% reduction to upkeep, which is quite huge. You could probably deal with that army. I might... We're gonna have to watch out for this. But we should be alright. Let's just go out and camp. We'll be able to heal this back up. Okay, Kiros didn't actually make a play in here, which is super interesting. But there is an army to the north here we can maybe deal with. Maybe not, it's at half health. We'll just see. Valiant defeat. Nah, that's alright. We'll move back and just continue with the replenishment.
the dragon-blooded.
We don't need to be too hyper-aggressive like that. I was just looking at the balance of power. I thought it might have been more so within my favour. But Miao Ying, we're trying to replenish her army for the next Rift event.
The Rifts are our opportunity to reach the Chaos Realms. Now, I truly earn my fee. And yet, the gateway opens both ways. While we may traverse the Rifts to enter the realm of Chaos.
Alrighty, so it's actually happened. 92 turns in. We've got some more rifts coming up. Thankfully, there's a lot of rifts actually in this ogre territory. I kind of like that, so you don't always have to stay in your territory to go through them. So we will be entering either Nurgle's realms or Tzeentch's realms in the next episode. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to send my armies that are currently garrisoning Cathay to close the rifts around, and they've grown slightly. They're a little bit more, so we'll have to be careful if we force march out. But we'll just quickly try and close some of these rifts, and we'll go into the next realm at the start of the next episode, episode 10, coming out soon. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for more Warhammer 3 on the channel. I'm going to play the outro now. Take care, guys. Oh my god, we did it. That was way too close for my liking. Anyway, thank you very much for watching episode 8 of my Cathay series. We've completed Slaanesh's realm. Stay tuned for episode 9, coming out soon. And we continue on with the Cathay campaign. So, thanks guys for watching. I'm going to play the outro now. Take care. Unfortunately, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my social media links in the description below if you want to stay connected with me. I also want to say thank you to this month's patrons and channel members: Victor K, Sebastian C, Jordan K, Caesar L, Brian S, Tao, Lion B, Kyle P, Tom C, and White P. My name has been Simpzy. Much love from Australia. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.